And I will start the podcast. Wow.
Right. Wow. Two great nations, two great peoples, two great houses, alike in dignity.
Alike in
class
dignity.
ones lived in harmony. And everything changed when Union Pacific attacked.
Yeah. Oh, you ain't lying. Oh, Roz, we got to go see Big Boy do the horseshoe curve.
That is a very expensive ticketed event.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, now I know. How expensive is it?
I don't remember. It's too much. You know what? I think this is the official image for the merger, and I just realized I think it's done with AI.
Yeah, that tracks.
It's because it's train.
Roz, it's $20 goddamn, dude.
Is it?
Oh, it's sold out. Oh, it's sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out though. Yeah, you're gonna have to get that from a scalper.
All right. Seat geek.
I'm just gonna go down to the Market Street Bridge and watch when it comes out from under the art museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's gonna be impressive to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hello and welcome to Well, There's Your Problem. It's a podcast about engineering disasters with slides. I'm Justin Rosniak. I'm the person who's talking right now. My pronouns are he and him. Okay, go.
November's dead. I'm Liam. Pronouns he, him.
Nova has Novid, unfortunately.
Novid, yeah.
Yeah.
We have not killed and or her. That may happen to her incidentally, but it's not going to be our faults.
Yeah, no, we're not allowed to do that.
No, not the way this company is structured, baby.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Victoria Scott. I'm the person who's talking right now. My pronouns are she and her.
All right, so
I'm also here to maintain the transgender woman quorum required.
Exactly.
Yeah. If we do an episode without a trans person, the episodes suck and we don't release them.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not making that up. I'm not making that up. That's true. That's factual. I'm not making that up. So I don't love. I'm on the field. I'm on the thing for the horseshoe curve, and it's the header is "Feel the Thunder."
Wow.
Which is also incidentally what I say to my wife right before she kicks me. I put my hand on her thigh and I go, "Feel the." I'm not done. I'm kidding. Now I'm done.
I thought I'd gather us all today as a family to talk about something very difficult.
Are we getting divorced?
No, This is for everyone out there. Your Uncle Pete, he's always had some interesting proclivities. Your Uncle Pete is marrying a horse.
What?
That's right. Union Pacific is merging with Norfolk Southern.
Uncle Pete, no. Don't do that.
Union Pacific headquarters is being moved to Enumclaw.
I'm here. No, I don't even want to say I'm here to fuck the horse. Here to fuck Uncle Pete. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to fuck Uncle Pete, baby.
Here to talk about the merger, we invite Washington legend Mr. Hands.
Trying to fuck a horse, baby. Let's do this.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, that's right. The Great Big Rolling Railroad is about to get bigger.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to talk about what that means for the rest of us. Spoiler, mostly bad.
Is this going to be more PSR bullshit I hate?
A little bit, yeah.
Is this going to be any more locomotives because I can't buy a new one anymore?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Are they going to bring back Big Boy and then I'll just watch it go round and round and probably watch them put it on the ground at Horseshoe Curve somehow?
Yeah, it's a propaganda tool.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But before we do that, we have to do the goddamn news.
Yeah, comedy is legal again, man.
The Onion has not purchased for the moment, but leased the intellectual property of InfoWars, meaning they are going to be able to start publishing content on the InfoWars website. This is, I understand, a stopgap measure until all the injunctions can get cleared so they can actually buy the thing outright. It's very exciting. Alex Jones has been onion mogged, I think is the word the kids would say.
Losing his fucking mind also.
Yes.
So I haven't seen, because I make a habit of not doing anything related to Alex Jones. I assume he's basically just like fisting his own ass in panic. Am I on the track?
Yeah.
He's gotten so red, he's gotten outside the electromagnetic spectrum. He's in infrared now.
Infrared.
You can't see him.
The funniest part of this is they brought in Tim Heidecker to do a bunch of the like new shows and podcasts, like be kind of the face of InfoWars, which he's also publicly claimed he's going to make like a home for transgender comedy, which specifically is comedy told by trans people, not doing Chappelle bits.
Punching
cool and crucial distinction.
Right. But, so although I don't like them stepping on our turf as America's number one and the UK's number one trans-friendly podcast, because once again, when we don't have trans people on the show, it collapses like the Blues Brothers car.
Yeah, I can't believe that one guy did crowd work at the expense of one of our listeners.
That guy does suck, but the thing is like there are a bunch of people who are like, oh, you can't. This is a terrible stereotype to perpetuate about trans people and holding it to such a high standard. And while this is somewhat true, I did also date that woman, basically. So I can't really. That's kind of like, yeah, it's fair actually. Stop working for defense contractors.
Yeah, everyone, don't build bombs. Listen to my episode on Bloodwork podcast.
Yes.
No, but the funniest thing about this InfoWars merger lease, whatever the hell thing, is that it appears that Alex Jones is in some state of inebriation where he is unaware that Tim Heidecker does parodies of real things, and so kind of seemingly believes that he is actually a Satanist. It's hard to tell where the kayfabe begins and ends with that guy.
That's true, yeah.
But
that's true.
He is, no matter what he claims to like actually believe, at the end of the day, he is incredibly owned, and he is turning into a corn cob. It's great.
Yes. I guess like he just filed some kind of emergency appeal like 2 hours ago.
Fuck
I didn't
off,
read that
dude.
article.
Just take the L.
You're gonna have to take the L on this one, yeah.
They're selling rainbow onion InfoWars tote bags, and my wife obviously was like, I have to get this incredible object to have. And we're trying to figure out like when the event horizon for can actually use this outside of the home will hit, because right now not enough people are aware of this to be able to like publicly make that joke and expect people to get it. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah. I'm this is one of the first pieces of good news in a while.
Yeah, I'm stoked also that there might be like a second transgender jobs program besides the rotating host spot on this podcast.
Well, there's your problem make work program.
Yeah.
Because boy, do we need it.
Yeah, that fucking rules. I do like, obviously we don't have it in the news today, but the Voting Rights Act was gutted today, April 29th. Shoot John Roberts with a gun. And I am very happy at least that Alex Jones is melting. I assume like some sort of witch,
gradually decomposing into chili.
Ooh, Ben's chili bowl. We'll get a half smoke. Well, we can eat a half smoke out of his shattered chest cavity.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Thank you. The one good thing about DC is Ben's chili bowl because they closed all the fucking Armand's pizzas.
I never went to Armand's Pizza.
How?
Because I lived in the suburbs.
Yeah, you're well.
Yeah, the deep suburbs.
I'm gonna need some food recommendations for when I'm down there in mid-August for the
why the fuck would you
Grand
go to
Prix of America?
Oh, I was gonna say, why the fuck would you go to DC in August? Bring extra shirts, like 6 of them.
Yeah.
You will sweat through them.
Large 5-gallon tote of water that should last you about 2 hours.
Two to 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Be conservative. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, in other news. All right, we have an update on
Novo.
the.
Stop getting COVID.
Yeah.
Novid in her case.
we have a update on Jacksonville's ultimate urban circulator.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm sorry. Does this say 973 riders a month?
973 riders per month with a $1 million monthly operating subsidy.
That's $1,000 per person.
That is over $1,000 per person subsidy.
Oh, that fucking rules.
Efficient autonomous vehicles, which the vehicles have never completed
There's a guy in
without
that.
requiring manual assistance.
There's a guy in that. I can see it.
Yes, because they need to intervene once every quarter of a mile.
I've got a question.
Yeah, hit us with it.
Why not just pick 973 people who need to use public transit and give them a voucher to a Craigslist Jeep Cherokee? That would be roughly that would be roughly the same cost, would it not?
Yeah, but that's more. Oh, coming soon, phase 1. The future's coming soon. Does that say June 2025?
Where?
Yes.
Yeah, on the van. On the van, yeah.
The vans cannot change lanes. They cannot pull into traffic. They require human intervention every quarter mile. They require more people to operate than a normal transit vehicle. For those of you who did not listen to our ultimate urban circulator episode, you can go back and listen to that. But the gist is that Jacksonville was going to go in hard on having the first autonomous shuttle system in downtown, that they were eventually going to replace their old, inefficient, boring, dowdy old automated, elevated rail system with. This is going to be autonomous, not automated, which is going to be better. And it turns out, unlike the old technology, this one actually requires quite a bit of manual labor to run.
This is okay. I was just curious because I'm looking at that chart there, or the table at the top of the image. That 18,435 revenue miles, that works out to $54 per mile.
Wow.
That fucks. That is so immensely
It would be cheaper to build a train line and pull it up every single time somebody wants to take a ride somewhere, I think.
Oh, yeah. You just have like a continuous loop of track in front of you.
Wallace and Gromit, the Penguin Thief episode. Just laying down rails directly in front of the train, pulling them back up from behind.
Yes.
Yeah, it would make more sense than this.
Yeah, so this is the future right here. Imagine a driver intervening in the operation of an autonomous vehicle forever.
How wonderfully absurd.
At least, the thing is like, I almost admire the Tesla strategy compared to this, because at least Tesla just lets the cars fucking run into stuff,
Yeah.
They're like, sure, it crashes a lot, but like, at least they don't have somebody sitting there with their hands hovering over the wheel constantly.
And I know there's collateral damage, but think of all the Tesla drivers it kills, and that's a net good. I saw a camo wrapped Cybertruck today, and I fucking just lost my shit.
What camouflage pattern was it though?
I don't know. It was just like not a specific one, right? Just like bad green blue army camo.
Okay.
I was gonna say
you could tell, like, I feel
Mossy Oak Cybertruck with just me spitting in the back.
Real tree Cybertruck does feel like an invention meant to kill me instantly.
Yeah. It's my Cybertruck that's painted to look like my mud jug. I don't think they'll license mud jugs to us, but I'm trying.
What is that?
It's a washable spitter, dude. It's like a
reusable
spitter.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that way I don't have to go out back, and
you don't have to ask for a little plastic cup.
Yeah. Thank you. I was telling that story and my coworker got so nauseous she threatened to kill me. Because remember I had to get the little plastic, like, remember they gave me that sippy cup at that restaurant in Boston?
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, fuck you. It's pretty funny.
Well, Innovation is coming to Jacksonville. I'm sure they will have
go Jags.
Integrated spitters in the vans soon enough. They'll be autonomous too.
Autonomous spitters. That is the whole point of Elon's humanoid robot fiasco disaster shit.
$1,000 to ride the slow van.
Just give me a van. Give me a van back. I want a van again. Give me a van. I can do. What do you know the damage I can do with a million? With an M? $1 million? You know how many vans I could buy with $1 million? Fuck, dude. And it would be nice. It would be nice vans. It wouldn't be like the one that when the engine seized up and killed us almost.
$54 a mile.
That's incredible. That's worse than like a Veyron.
Yeah, what? That's like a container ship.
Finally, we've gotten a program that achieves the.
You have 1,000 commuters of Veyron.
You ever been to an airport and you see like the little Porsches racing around from gate to gate with all the Delta VIPs?
No, I fly American, so.
I fly United. I just see people's arms getting broke.
Yeah. I fly American, and the flight attendants are very nice to me, and then they give me extra liquor, which is shout out to American Airlines. Yeah, because I asked nice, and they're like, "Oh, you want 4 mini bottles? Here you go, champ." And I'm like, "I think that Dallas is a nice airport, actually, and the rental car return makes sense, actually." And they're like, "Sir, you got to calm down."
I used to connect through Salt Lake City when I lived in rural Idaho. Yeah, it's the worst airport in America. I think probably the worst state in America. Just got nothing going for it. Anyway,
I mean, natural beauty, but like ruined by Mormons, and dirty soda kind of fucks. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. Fuck that. You can't get an actual beer anywhere in the goddamn state from a tap. I do no, absolutely not. Ridiculous.
And
backwards.
And High West whiskey. Roz, a dirty soda, to answer your question that I heard.
Yes.
I heard the hesitation. A dirty soda is basically like a Diet Coke or some sort of soda with like creamer in it.
It's disgusting.
It kind of fucks.
I don't know if I would enjoy that.
You don't drink soda. You don't drink soda.
No, I had 2 sodas when I went to visit Aoife last weekend.
Good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you drink? Coke?
It was Sprite.
Baffling. You are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I needed something, and there was no alcohol in that household.
Yeah. Okay. So WD-40 and Coke float. Yeah, I've seen Archer.
What?
All right. What? Nothing. Moving on swiftly.
All right. That was the goddamn news.
And before we continue, I have a real quick announcement to make, which is that once again, I am asking for your donations. My coworker Mary, who is a saint, her grandson has a rare genetic illness and needs a mobility van. So we're raising money. There's a donation match going on right now. I will send the link to Roz and we'll drop it in the video description or the Spotify or whatever description.
Did you announce that on the previous episode too?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we'll drop the link in this one. Someone's gonna have to remind me.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. But yeah, I want to just take a minute to tell you that Mary rules. She has a rosary in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and I adore her very much. She is my work mom, and I would die for her. And tell me about the railroad, man. This is so dear.
Yes. So first, we must ask, what is the railroad?
Individual railroads collectively quote the railroad. Charters, land grants.
Don't read off the bullet points. I have
Virginia and Truckee is like right outside Reno, right? That's like right where they laid the original connection ish.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah, this I don't know too much about this locomotive other than it was in multiple Disney films.
It's cute. I like it. I think it's happy to see me. I don't think that cow catcher's doing much work.
Oh. No, it'll take out a cow. The cows are smaller back then.
Now we have just HGH enhanced cows.
No,
I call this one the Super Bowl.
I'm pretty sure that's the Virginia of Virginia City, which was like the original like big northern Nevada city before they ran the silver mine dry, and then everybody moved down to the valley in Reno. The railroad went through there. Anyway, I used to live in Reno for a very brief period of time, and I didn't like it very much. There's a lot of interesting, like, if you're into how the railroads like developed the West to what it is, it's a very interesting place to live.
I imagine.
And you can shoot a man there just to watch him die.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Not much else to do, so.
That's a good point.
You can gamble.
The thing is like, I am not a gambling type because I have, like, clinical anxiety.
Me too, like, baby. And I go to the casino so much people are worried about me. Actually, I don't. I go to the casino when I'm forced to, like for a work event.
Yes.
But also, like, Reno casinos are pretty sad.
Casinos?
Thank you, Liam.
You're welcome.
We need Nova here. She would tell you off for that.
But she's not.
So when I'm talking about the railroad, right, there are, there's railroads, right? Those are the different companies that own trains and tracks and so on. But the railroad as a collective thing, that's just all of it, right? Now your railroad typically started off as a company that was chartered by a state government, right? And this charter essentially said these were issued generally sort of back in like the 1820s, 1830s, 1840s, when we were a little bit more liberal with what powers of the state we delegated to corporations.
Incredibly, somehow.
Yeah.
So I have a question, which may be a story for another time. Can you explain to me why Norfolk Southern and Uncle Pete survived, and like the Pennsylvania Railroad, which you taught me at one point had a larger budget than the government of the United States, died? Besides like the Pennsylvania, like what is it about those two, or is this just like a topic that we're just not going to get into today? Because it's fine.
We're very much going to get into. So Union Pacific is the shambling corpse of the Southern Pacific.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me put on my fact hat. Let's do this.
Yeah. And the Norfolk Southern is, just still the Norfolk and Western. They just, they just had very high profit, long haul coal drags their entire existence.
Okay.
Yeah. So luck of the draw, geography to some extent, anyway. So these charters gave the railroad, a right to build from point A to point B, sometimes via point C, and they delegated powers of the state to the railroad. Things like eminent domain, right? They could do you might call it compulsory purchase in Britain. You could force people to sell you land, right? You had the authority to have your own police force, which they still have, which is accountable to the railroad. The railroad can shoot you.
And frequently they do.
Yes. That's just one of the many ways the railroad can kill you, though, to be clear. They have immunity to certain local laws and taxes, right? Sometimes they have other special considerations. My favorite was always the Georgia Railroad and Bank, which, so long as it operated passenger trains, could operate a bank that was not subject to any banking laws in the state of Georgia.
Hell yeah, brother. That fucked.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining, like, we get, like, railroad letters of marque in which you can do legalized train robbery by ramming your train into a competing railroad's train. I really want to see how Looney Tunes can we get with this?
I do want to draw a comparison real quick between, and we've covered this in the university episode, land grant universities and the railroad here. Institutions with a lot of, how do I say this? Managerial inertia.
Yes.
And I also want to plug, I have to talk to Diane Moskowitz about it, that the University 2 is coming because we've run out of ideas that are simply recycling old episodes.
So...
the other thing on the land grant front, I was just gonna say, I don't know if this is true for universities or not, but with railroads, it was very much we should build a railroad through here and own as much land as we can around it, because by building the railroad through here, we theoretically will make the land valuable.
Yes. And we do tracks that look like this.
That was how you sort of funded the construction of the railroad, was through government land grants. You were given 1 square mile plots of land in a checkerboard pattern surrounding the railroad as you built it. And that was the incentive to keep building, right? And then the state also did other nice things for you, like send out the army to go take out those pesky Native Americans and things like that. And
strikers,
this is all
too.
Strikers.
Yeah. You can't forget that they would also send out the military to kill striking workers.
This is true.
Guard, yep.
And so this was all in exchange for eventually getting a railroad, which is going to provide some kind of public service, right? It's going to move people and goods, and well, those are the two things it moves. And it's going to provide service to the communities along the line, and to a certain extent, that's their end of the deal, right? You have on the railroad generally pretty strict and regimented roles for management and employees in a very hierarchical structure. Management employees are officers and enlisted men. It's very, very military in that sense.
A big
even
class
to this day.
too, I assume.
Yeah. So the one thing I've always liked to a way to think about it is the American Railroad is an organization which is much closer to like the East India Company than it is to a modern corporation.
That makes a lot of sense.
They were also considered broadly to be like as powerful as the state, especially in like this era. Is like the railroad basically like, especially the further you got, the further you got from like the seat of power in DC, and like deeper into the West, it was basically like, the railroad kind of runs things.
Yeah, and that's still true in some places.
What are you telling me? The corporations have undue influence over American politics?
Yeah.
Nope. Shut up.
I wouldn't want to badmouth CSX in Clifton Forge, Virginia.
Oh my God! They cut Roz into 8 Roz bits.
So,
Roz bits coming soon to a snack store near you.
So anyway, I guess we'll talk about some of the earliest incarnations here. You have, or a brief history of railroad mergers. So for a long time, we have what I always call the alphabet soup era, because there's so many railroad acronym names that you can't remember any of them, right? You have like 1 billion tiny railroads from about 1865-ish onward. There are, you have a nowhere in East Armpit Pacific Railroad for every town in the Midwest. There are so many railroads, it's hard to keep track of them, or impossible to.
From my understanding, this era of railroads is kind of like AI today, where it was like, oh yeah, we can spend money on this. It might be worth $1 trillion tomorrow. Basically just like building stuff for capital to go into. It just so happens that like on Lake AI, you actually get a railroad at the end of building a railroad.
This is true. Yes.
Yeah.
Buying a new locomotive and suddenly graphics cards become unaffordable.
So even these small railroads are like made of separate individual charters, right? I maybe I need 6 separate railroad charters to build my railroad to the county seat the next county over, right? They're built very rapidly and with no thought as to how they might interact with other railroads as like a railroad system. If you were lucky, when you finished your railroad, you could then lease it to a bigger railroad who could operate it profitably, right?
Oh,
this does sound like a lot of modern American businesses.
Yeah. If you were unlucky, you just built 17 miles of track to a cow shed. You dunce.
Oh.
So, yeah, brother, could you spare a dime, as they said. And this is an era of destructive competition, right? The railroads are competing directly with each other, which is unusual in the broad scheme of history here. Sometimes they're on parallel tracks that are in sight of each other, right? So they're both getting, in that case, like half of the traffic they might otherwise get. So you had to get creative to try and get all of that traffic onto your railroad as opposed to the other guys. So you reduce your freight. Yeah, it's a race to the bottom. You reduce your freight rates. You offer rebates. You make friends with shippers, give them sweet deals, right? Whatever you have to do. Any real competition between railroads resulted in rates or fares being lowered to a completely unsustainable level. And then informal cartels had to be formed to bring those rates back up to the point where they could run the trains again.
Hell yeah.
The most efficient system of allocating resources ever devised by humanity.
Yes.
That's just pee poo poo. Yeah.
Yeah. And these kinds of rate wars resulted in a lot of stupid railroads being built and a lot of smart railroads to fail. It was not a good system.
Well, luckily we learned our lesson from that.
Yeah, thank God.
So eventually we over time into like the early 1900s, we see these railroads start to consolidate into names we're more familiar with, right? And the mergers and acquisitions of all these tiny railroads into the bigger railroads of the early 20th century, these are largely unregulated. They're at the whims of whoever controlled whichever railroad. A lot of times they were like heavily leveraged and completely unsustainable. But they did at least make remembering all the names easier.
This is peak. I just got my first Bachmann like ready to run train set when I was 10 railroad era, where it's like, oh cool, you have a Union Pacific locomotive, you might recognize that one, and then a bunch of cars behind it with some of these logos, and then you're like, huh, this seems interesting. It's like the perfect era to be completely fixated by. If you're like a really specific kind of like 6 to 10-year-old.
Yeah, I like all the pretty colors on the boxcars.
Yeah. It was like they were still doing like competitive advertising too, because it was still, while it was not as bad as like the era predating it, there was still a lot of like competing service. Imagine kind of like airlines, I guess, where it's like you probably take whatever flight is going to be the most convenient, but they're still kind of vying for like, do you want to go with like this carrier and like go a little bit longer because their points program is better or have better lounges or whatever. So they're still they're trying to differentiate themselves from like a service perspective and like an ad perspective. So this is when you get all the really cool art.
Oh yeah. And mostly with the passenger trains, you were competing on amenities. Because
that makes sense.
Shaving time off was expensive.
I mean, that's kind of it's exactly where we are now. Exactly what Victoria said. I don't have anything to add to that, actually. Thought I did.
So another thing is it became much easier to operate a large centralized railroad since there were improvements in telegraph technology. So you didn't need to have like a situation on the Pennsylvania Railroad where each division of the railroad basically operated autonomously, right? Or the New York Central system, which was just 6 railroads in a trench coat. But once you had better communication, you could coordinate everything better across, several thousand miles. And this leads to better service, more ability to maintain and improve infrastructure, lower freight rates and passenger fares, but there were still some serious inefficiencies with the system, which wouldn't really come to light until... That's right, I'm using this exact slide again, World War I.
Give it up for World War I.
Yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle, baby. It's Passion Dell in here, and I'm losing, which I guess makes me the Germans, which I don't want to be, so I withdraw that.
So the Great War.
You know what they say? Dulce et decorum est pro patria mori, right? That's it, right? Yeah, they meant it totally unironically. It's awesome. Kicks ass.
I don't know what.
Oh, it's Latin for it is sweet and proper to die for one's country.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It is quoted in a poem that was relatively famous by Wilfred Owen about how that's the oldest lie in history.
However,
because World War I sucked so bad. I only know this because my wife makes this joke basically anytime war comes up.
You could die bleeding out in
fascinating
mud.
New ways.
Yeah, bleeding out, covered in mud, looking at your own intestines in the middle of no man's land. Doesn't that sound fun and glorious?
And you could go in a tank made by like Renault for some reason, or Citroen, which I don't even want to think about what reliability of French tanks looks like.
Really comfortable suspension.
Yeah, you that travels through the French countryside with the orbs. Be like, damn, I can aim this gun so easily because it self-levels. Look at this.
Yeah.
Going around a corner on just 3 treads.
So anyway, the Great War was a war between America and Germany and was thus fought in Belgium. I'm going to say that every time. Anyway. A guy shoots another guy. The Second International shits the bed. All of Europe goes to war over nothing. America gets dragged in. Then this is a problem because now we have to send a lot of stuff to Europe. And all that stuff has to go on trains to the various port facilities in New York City.
Hey, I'm funding the war effort here. Oh my God, Jesus wept.
The biggest bottleneck in the country was the port of New York. So the trains came in to Jersey City to the various terminals. These are mostly passenger terminals. There were freight terminals over here as well. The cars were stored in railroad yards, right? And as available, they put the cars onto car floats. That's a little barge you can put railroad cars on, and floated them across the Hudson River, where they were then sent across the street into a warehouse to be unloaded. And then, after they were unloaded, the goods were brought back across the street on a little horse and cart that's called a dray, and then they were put on the boats. Then, of course, you had to float the empty car back over, and then the process repeats. Very, very inefficient.
This sounds terrible, but I will say railroad barges are cool.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We should bring those back. Because actually, there's a model railroad guy who does absolutely obscene HO scale work that is just like more realistic than I thought was attainable by like a human being. He has like a little barge, like a scratch-built train car barge set up. Awesome.
That sounds awesome.
I think it's Boomer Diorama.
Ooh. They still got a car float in New York City.
Really? They used to have a bunch. Yeah, it's Boomer Diorama. It's the SRY River Railway or sorry.
Of course.
It's really cool. His work is genuinely like the unattainable dream of what I wish I could do with model railroads. But they used to have a bunch of the stuff in like San Francisco and Oakland too, and that's all like ripped out now.
Oh yeah, well, New York City, they still have the one car float that goes down to the South Brooklyn Army Terminal or wherever it is right there. That's how they move all the retired subway equipment out by barge.
Isn't that the plot of a Metal Gear Solid?
Probably.
Maybe.
I'm doing a bit. It's not.
No, it probably is. You're trying to be funny, but I believe that it is now.
So this process is time-consuming and inefficient, but exacerbated by the fact that the railroads refused to use other railroads' facilities, nor did they allow other railroads to use theirs, even if they had spare capacity. So while America is doing what it used to do best, which is spin up insane productive capacity for the war effort, all that stuff just went to New York City and sat outside of New York City in the yard and collected dust.
Oh, good.
Eventually, Uncle Sam gets fed up with this, and on December 26, 1917, in accordance with the Army Appropriations Act, President Woodrow Wilson points at the railroads and says nationalized.
Good. Yeah,
yes.
Keep doing that, actually.
The only, one of the only halfway decent things he ever did, which he then immediately made sure to undo before leaving office because he sucked.
Well, yeah.
Fuck Woodrow Wilson.
He was president.
Well, yeah, but
of course he sucked.
Well, he was also in the Klan.
I thought that was Calvin Coolidge was in the Klan. No, that was
Wilson was in the Klan.
That was Wilson. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So anyway, this proved to be a very good idea, nationalizing the railroads, not being in the Klan. I would say joining the Klan is a bad idea. Don't do that.
Do swallow shotgun if you do decide to do it, though, please.
Well, you can also leave the Klan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We have to open a path for de-radicalization.
God damn it! I hate when you're right.
Podcast.
It bothers when you're right.
So the centralized authority that managed these railroads was the USRA, the United States Railroad Administration, right? And they come in, they're very quickly able to correct most of the worst inefficiencies in the United States railroad network. They bring online these new, big, standardized steam locomotives for every railroad. They're able to make use of excess capacity on underused railroad lines. They're able to balance everything properly. It turns out if you put everything under one roof, it works a lot better.
Imagine that.
Yeah, the only big downside was that the war traffic, the amount of traffic required to support the war effort was so high that they were really deferring maintenance the whole time just to make sure all the trains could run. But anyway, after the war, the railroads were in pretty bad shape by that point because they got beat to shit. But there was a push by organized labor to keep the railroads nationalized. And there was actually some legal precedent to do so. They did not have to re-privatize the railroads. But instead, Wilson and Congress determined that we could probably just have some better oversight by the Interstate Commerce Commission. That'll be good enough, right? And the government handed the keys back to private interests in 1920. And the previous disorganization in the railroad network returned. But the bill that returned the railroads to private hands also gave the Interstate Commerce Commission authority to approve or reject railroad mergers, right? And the commission decides to get a leg up on this with what was called the Ripley Plan.
Like from Alien?
Yeah.
No, like from Ripley's
Wayland
Believe It or
Yutani
Not.
Railroad Corporation.
Ripley's Believe It or Not Railroad would be insane.
No, it was named for William Zabina Ripley, who I think was a college professor at Columbia, and he did phrenology as a hobby.
God damn it!
Yeah,
great, fucking great.
So the Ripley Plan, the idea was we're going to consolidate these several hundred small railroads into 21 large regional railroads, thus avoiding duplication of service, destructive competition. We're going to increase the overall efficiency of the railroad network. We're going to talk about efficiency as a term in a bit. And this made a lot of sense, right? Because, okay, look at the railroad network in 1920. Why does Maine have 3 separate Class 1 railroads?
Great question.
Why are there 8 unique mainline railroads going across Iowa? Stuff like this. There's probably some efficiency to be eked out here with some central planning. Probably everyone would make more money too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so this plan was presented to the railroads like, hey, we're going to try this managed consolidation. It worked really good in Britain where they had something very similar. What do you think? And they were like, no, fuck you.
Oh.
Why? Because these railroads are, as much as they are corporations, they are personal fiefdoms.
Yeah, okay. That was kind of what I was thinking. All right, yes, that makes sense.
And also arms of the state.
Right.
So the previous disorganized operational regime continued.
This never came back to haunt anyone.
Yeah.
The end of the episode, actually.
Yeah, all right, call it. Hey, thanks for listening. Yeah, we'll see you. Don't forget to donate to Mary's Grandson. Okay, catch you in the next one.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about the theory of railroad mergers here. Very simple.
More railroad, more gooder.
Bigger railroad is more efficient. Now you got to ask, what is efficiency, right? This is always a dangerous word. You got to always look into what people mean by that, right? Efficiency is always about one thing in terms of another thing. The another thing is usually money. This is how we get to, like, the ideal railroad is one which owns no track and runs no trains, right? That's very efficient. But essentially, the bigger railroad is more efficient. It's able to do more with less, because there's more destinations to ship railroad cars. There's more routes to do so. It's easier to coordinate trains when they're all the same railroad. They're not like in a separate command structure in a different railroad. There's fewer transfers and interchanges between railroads. There's fewer big terminals and they're more centralized. You have redundant routes are either repurposed, like you might have, there might have been two railroads that were competing with each other between city A and city B. Well, if you consolidate them, then railroad A becomes the passenger route, railroad B becomes the freight route, or sometimes you just abandon unnecessary routes, and hopefully this all results in more income, which you can use for infrastructure improvements, right? Hopefully. Yeah.
Good bit.
A thing railroads are famous right? for, yeah.
The practice of railroad mergers.
Money.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Do some just mash the railroads together and do some cost cutting or something. I don't give a shit.
You guys want anything from the liquor store?
Yeah. So here's a big chart that's often cited of railroad mergers in the latter half of the 20th century. This is by no means exhaustive, because if you were going to do an exhaustive chart, it would be about 8 times larger. Be too small for people to see it on the screen. So we're going to start with sort of by talking about the set of mergers from about here to here. Right? Or actually, no, not that one. Never mind. Here. And this is sort of the first round of what were called mega mergers, right? These happened in the 60s and early 70s, while most railroads were under a lot of financial duress due to competition with trucking and airlines, and also a whole bunch of self-inflicted wounds, to be frank.
Yeah, that whole bit about no, we're not going to accept your plan to become more competitive and make more money because we like running these personal fiefdoms does seem like it could possibly have played a role in this collapse. I do love hating on Eisenhower for everything, but the interstate highway system, but this is not entirely his fault.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that the railroads really fucked up, sort of in the 50s and 60s. A great book, very hard to find, very out of print, is called To Hell in a Day Coach, by, hold on, I got my copy right here.
I have it, you don't.
This is like what I recorded with Be Gay Solve Crimes with Nova.
Peter
we were talking
Leon.
about trying to make the hat work, and without getting up, she managed to put on a hat as we were recording.
But that's a good contemporaneous account of how the railroads were fucking themselves over intentionally and crying about it afterwards.
Too big to fail, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So, hold on. We're going to talk about this in a second, but I have to use the restroom.
Didn't he just pee?
I think he did.
I did, yes, but I have to again. I had a lot of coffee today.
Okay, well, I'll go get an energy drink because I'm nodding off, frankly. All right, Victoria, you got the reins. You got this.
I'm doing the whole thing.
Read the whole thing.
I'm taking over.
Congratulations. See ya.
I can't. Oh, we're on the next slide. I guess. God, I grew up in the coal mining regions of West Virginia as a kid, and I remember the last time I ever saw a chassis system locomotive, and it's like one of the peak experiences of my childhood, which is a lot sadder when I say it like that, but God, what a livery. It is very interesting. Like this era of railroads where you kind of get this fucked up mergers, sort of living in the wreckage of what was once a great civilization, is kind of like peak railroading in my mind, which is very funny because like when you're growing up as a kid, you're millennial, which I am, all of the railroad, like model railroad stuff is targeted at boomers who grew up during the actual peak when it was like 50s and 60s and they were still making money hand over fist before they started consolidating. And so finding anything that was actually like chassis system or like that BN, Burlington Northern Green, or like Seaboard lines, very unusual. CSX, which is the main carrier, owned a lot of the lines by me. Was very rare to find. Conrail was basically non-existent. Despite the fact they were my favorite, because when I was 4 years old, my across the street neighbor, who was a Conrail engineer, let me drive a, I think it was a GM U-boat, I want to say, on like some short haul local freight train, with a transformer on like a U car on the back, the depressed.
I'm back.
Hey, I'm just relating the story of how I got to drive a Conrail. I think it was a U-boat when I was like 4 years old.
Oh.
And how this whole like this what most people regard as the nadir of like American railroading is what I am most nostalgic for, because I grew up and I saw chassis system locomotives. They were really pretty.
Oh yeah, they gotta bring back chassis system. The CSX Heritage Unit is terrible.
It is. Well, you could do an entire There's Your Problem episode on heritage units.
Oh my God, it's a heritage unit. Here's all the ones I've seen and taken photographs of.
They are but yeah, it was cool when trains used to be colors. I think kind of the boldest take I have.
Yes, I strongly agree. It's miserable looking at a freight train now. It's all brown.
Yeah, well, the only thing that actually breaks it up is nowadays they've finally given up on graffiti, because that was like, I seem to remember it being less common when I was a kid. Like cars used to get painted and patched more often, I think.
You know what it was is the graffiti artists got smarter. They don't paint over the reporting marks.
Oh yeah. Well, the graffiti is like the main point of watching a freight consist go by at this point, because everything else is just gray and filthy.
Honestly, yeah, I love to see like some really great graffiti on a railroad car.
I am a big graffiti on rolling stock enthusiast.
Mm-hmm. And it's just a free coat of paint for the railroad, you know?
Yeah, but I mean,
what are you mad about?
Wins. The fact that the thing is like I understand the fact that it is illegal is probably part of what makes graffiti artists want to go do it, because it is like explicitly forbidden. But it does feel like one of those things we're just well past the point we just legalize it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of graffiti artists who are foamers.
I mean, it makes sense. Like,
yeah.
I think we should legalize it, because then I would totally go do it. But I'm just too scared of getting arrested to ever try, as it currently sits.
Yeah. All right. So, the first mega mergers of the 1970s, we sort of consolidate a couple of these railroads, a whole bunch of these railroads into a few really big ones, right? We got up here, we got the Norfolk and Western, which took over the Wabash, and a few others. You had the Family Line system, which was the Seaboard Coast Line and the Louisville and Nashville. They had a nasty habit of blowing up a town every couple months.
Oh, well, nothing's changed.
No, every couple months, not every couple years.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. You had the Chessie system. That was the Chesapeake in Ohio and the Baltimore in Ohio and the Western Maryland. Burlington Northern, which was, well,
it was up here.
Yes. The Burlington route, the Great Northern, and the Northern Pacific, I believe.
That Louisville and Nashville that's what the LNN is, right? That thing, yeah. top center is looking pretty gray.
yeah, they look pretty gray coming out of the shops. You had the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, which is just, sort of big naturally. And of course, yeah, you had the Union Pacific, which was just the Union Pacific, right?
I like how you chose the what is it, the DD-40 or whatever?
The DDA-40X, yeah.
Yeah, the longest freight locomotive ever developed because it's got 2 engines.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I rode a bus like that once.
A bus with 2 engines?
Yeah, it was the twin coach. I think it was a Bagel. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. But they've got one in the SF Muni Historic Heritage Fleet.
Ooh.
Because they couldn't get gas powered vehicles up the hills until they threw a second engine in it.
I love this.
Yeah. And of course, you had Conrail, the Consolidated Railroad Corporation that was the government had to make to save rail service in the Northeast. So through these mergers that were largely of necessity, the rationalized railroad network Ripley had dreamed of was forming, right? Norfolk and Western and family lines in the South, Chessie system and Conrail in the Northeast, Union Pacific and the ATSF in the Southwest, Burlington Northern in the Northeast. It's a couple other large railroads that had resisted major mergers like the Southern Railway and the Southern Pacific. Those would go soon enough. All this took was extreme financial duress, lots of subsidized competition from the trucking industry, and finally the railroads had to stop squabbling and get together. And this was maybe good. It improved operational efficiencies, but woe to you if you worked at, a maintenance shop that closed down or lived along a railroad that was, deemed redundant. Like say all 2,300 miles of the Milwaukee Road Pacific extension, which...
Excuse me while I pour one out.
Your new, more efficient competition from the Burlington Northern essentially killed that route outright.
Well, that's also the Milwaukee Road couldn't figure out how to run a railroad. So
that is also true.
That was. I would argue that is a classic case. One of the classic cases of a good railroad dying for stupid reasons.
Yes. Well, they should have finished the electrification. Had they done that, I think they'd still be all. That's a different episode. Yeah, but generally speaking, this is an era of retrenchment, right? You have these mainline railroads. They have extra tracks, which they are not considered useful anymore. They're just a maintenance burden. So they'll take a 4-track mainline and reduce it to 3, or 3 to 2, or 2 to 1, right? Because you have sophisticated new systems like centralized traffic control, which, allows a lot more trains to use a smaller number of tracks, right? It becomes...
God forbid we allow more throughput.
God forbid, yeah. You're don't worry, we're never going to need that capacity again. You have you don't have too many new locomotive or rolling stock purchases, right? You like to remanufacture old ones. You have something called demarketing, right? Railroads start to aggressively shed traffic they thought wasn't profitable enough, or which was difficult and complex to handle, right? So one of the first to go was livestock, right? Livestock trains all needed to be fast. They needed to stop every 33 hours so you could feed and water the cattle, right? And that was annoying. That was the kind of freight that complained at you. Gone is the less than carload freight to like terminals in major cities. That was like, if you imagine like a truck full of Amazon packages today, that would be handled in a boxcar back in the day. You just have like 50 or 60 different consignments in one boxcar you brought to a freight house in a major city, and then people would go in and sort it and take it out, put it on trucks for delivery. They got rid of that. You also got rid of like what I would call community oriented freight services, like, stuff that goes to the freight house in a small town. Like if Farmer Brown in Nowhere, Iowa orders a new tractor, the Union Pacific delivers it on a flat car to the Nowhere freight house, and he drives over there in the pick 'em up truck with his son, Farmer Brown Jr., to go get the tractor, right? He drives the truck back, and his son drives the tractor back because he's 11 and basically an adult, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And this is a great community service, delivering the tractor straight to the town, right? It doesn't make much money, so the railroad starts demarketing it, and eventually they shut down the Nowhere Freight House, and Farmer Brown now has to haul a trailer all the way to the county seat at East Armpit.
Well, luckily at this point, Farmer Brown's probably killed himself because of general economic pressures on family-owned farms. So really,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
The market kind of was going away. He was getting demarketed either way, honestly. No matter how you look at it.
I've been demarketed. Or it might be worse than that. He has to go to a John Deere dealer halfway across the state in like Dubuque or Davenport or another scary big city
with his lockdown John Deere DRM, which is bullshit nonsense. It's a tractor. Right to repair is important, assholes.
Yes. So,
and I put away my soapbox.
The mergers themselves did not save the railroad industry, nor was it just the retrenchment and the demarketing. A really huge factor in what ultimately revitalized the railroad industry in this era was the one railroad expansion built in the 70s and 80s.
Powder River, right?
Yeah, the Burlington Northern built a new line into the Powder River Basin in Wyoming to get to all the horrible brown coal that the EPA said was good.
Right.
Which it does have a very low sulfur content. I will give them that. Otherwise, terrible for the environment.
Yeah, but we need this. We found this out when we cleaned up the bunker oil they use it for global shipping. We need the sulfur. It's keeping out the sun.
Yeah.
We're gonna heat the earth too fast if we don't put up our protective barrier sulfur layer.
Yeah.
You've heard of the ozone. Now get ready for the so-zone.
Anyway, what that led to was about 1 billion huge long-distance coal trains every day that, went over everyone's railroad. And jacked up everyone's revenue by a huge amount because they're real cheap to operate. They make a lot of money.
They don't complain at you.
Yeah. When the Burlington Northern decided to build this thing, several members of the board resigned because of austerity brain.
I
was saying while you were gone, I grew up in like when I really got into trains, I was living in like coal country West Virginia in like the sort of Ohio River area.
We're talking like Nitro, or where are we talking?
Oh, Nitro is on Nakana.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But and I remember like whenever there was something that came through that wasn't a coal train, it was exciting.
Ooh, yeah.
It was like, ooh, different rolling stock instead of the same dusty brown ungraffitied uncovered hoppers.
Yeah.
Gravity
Sometimes just
they are. I don't remember what they were using. It's those ones that got the weird rounded section on the bottom.
Oh, it's a Bethgon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw like every single one of them. I think they had in the CSX fleet at the time.
So these early mergers, I would say, not necessarily the reason why the railroads survived, but that was probably just something that was going to happen. But immediately folks were like, well, we can go further. Which brings us to the mega merger, the first one that failed miserably. The Southern Pacific Santa Fe. This was a disaster. And it left both railroads worse off, right? So in the mid 1980s, after we've really started the deregulation process with the Staggers Railroad Act, it looked like an even bigger combination of railroads was possible between the Santa Fe and the Southern Pacific, right? These are two very different operations, right? The Santa Fe, the ATSF, got by with this sort of lean operation that ran very fast freight trains of high value goods on their very direct main line from Chicago to Los Angeles. Whereas the Southern Pacific had access to every port and every population center between New Orleans and Portland, Oregon. They had vast tracts of productive farmland, other real estate like that, big interests in industries along the line. And, they took all this accumulated wealth and they just sat on it. They did fuck all with it, right?
God, railroads love doing that.
Yeah.
That's their favorite thing to do.
The ideal railroad is one where you sit smog-like on your massive hoard of rail lines and simply never use it for anything.
Yeah, pretty much. They were content to just run these really long, really slow trains through the desert. And, they would show up when they show up, and the railroad barely broke even each year. So this is clearly a match made in heaven, right? So they were so confident in the approval of this merger that the respective boards of directors on the railroads, they created a new company, the Santa Fe Pacific Corporation, to acquire all of each railroad's assets, right? The railroads would be operated independently until the Interstate Commerce Commission approved the merger, but the non-railroad assets, expensive downtown real estate, vast tracts of Central Valley farmland, gold and silver mines, oil and gas production facilities, parking lots at Disneyland, all kinds of crap. The vast wealth that the railroads had built up.
Are you serious about the parking lots at Disneyland?
Yes.
Or is that a joke? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Jesus.
Well, yeah, it's like how the Pennsylvania Railroad started Six Flags.
Are you really?
Yeah, that was
am I one of the lucky 10,000 today to learn that that's actually true?
Yeah, I think they started. They might have bought it early on, but the Pennsylvania Railroad was intimately involved with the development of Six Flags over Texas.
Wow. Okay.
There's a whole bunch of like the Buckeye Pipeline. Like there's a bunch of weird stuff in that portfolio. Conglomerates were wild.
It's like the Reading owning all those. Was it Australian
movie theaters? Yes. Now that's the only part of the company left. So the vast wealth the railroads had built up over 130 years, that would be administered directly by the Santa Fe Pacific Corporation. And as they awaited ICC approval for the merger, they even started painting their locomotives in this very fetching Kodachrome paint scheme, they called it.
Paint scheme,
excuse me. Paint scheme.
No, I like paint scheme a lot more, Ross.
It was called the Kodachrome scheme because
this is beautiful, dude.
It's the same colors that the Kodachrome film came in, of the box it came in. Yeah,
that's gorgeous.
We gotta bully them. Now that we have no EPA, we should bring it back. We should do that as a favor for me.
Yeah,
we can have whatever chemicals we want now. Bring back Kodachrome. Yeah, Kodak is free of the yoke of private equity and the British pension fund management now. They can do whatever they want. Bring back Kodachrome.
You have to remerge it with Eastman.
They are. Eastman now has control of their own distribution again. Sorry, this is now a film podcast.
Oh, I thought Eastman had been fully separated. Okay, I
no.
Didn't know
there's
that.
Eastman Kodak and there's Alaris Kodak, and Alaris Kodak handled all the distribution. sales to consumers. And Alaris got bought by a private equity firm, which decided they didn't want to actually make any products or sell anything. They just wanted to sit on IP. And so Eastman now is distributing their own film again, which means we might actually get new stuff for the first time in, like, I don't know, a decade. It's one of the very few things that America is not fully destroying at the current moment. And so since we have stripped the copper out of the walls of the EPA, I think that we should bring back the dangerous chemicals that kill you.
Who runs the big chemical plant in Kingsport then?
I don't know.
Huh.
Eastman Kodak still exists. It's just
this is Eastman Chemical.
Oh.
I don't know if they're separate or not.
That might be just an unrelated guy named Eastman.
No, it was the same company at one point.
I'm not sure. I just follow this kind of stuff because for a while there, it looked like we were going to get screwed out of film forever. And now it looks like we won't. Private equity somehow managed to not destroy my favorite thing for a little bit longer. So that's kind of nice.
Okay, hold on. No, Eastman Chemical is now independent of Kodak. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but presumably that there's someone who's got the I don't know.
Well, Eastman Kodak still makes film, though.
Yeah.
There is still a company called Eastman Kodak, and there was a company called Kodak Alaris. It's like every single thing that went through bankruptcy in 2012. It is a convoluted mess of like shell corporation bullshit. All that matters is that they can still keep making film.
Yes.
I would bet you this picture was actually taken on Kodachrome too, just looking at it.
Probably, yeah. That would be appropriate. I should have looked up who did this photo. I got it off Wikipedia. I bet it's a Roger Puda.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. So the Interstate Commerce Commission staff recommended approving the merger since the railroads were both not doing especially well financially. The railroad press didn't like it, but they expected to go through. Ronald Reagan is the president. Business is everything, right? There's a lot of grumbling about the whole situation. It looks kind of stupid and bad. Well, except the paint scheme that looks great, which is why it stunned everyone. On July 24th, 1986, the ICC issued a ruling of "fuck you, go home," and
verbatim. Actually, it's wild.
Refused even to hear an appeal.
Damn, dude.
And
that's
what followed?
Crazy.
Yeah. What followed was a rather messy divorce where the Southern Pacific was stripped of all its assets and sold to the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad, where it gradually ate that railroad from the inside out.
Yeah.
Exploded their fast freight business model. And the Santa Fe wound up with all of the Southern Pacific's non-railroad assets. All of the land in the Central Valley, half of downtown San Francisco, oil and gas, gold and silver reserves.
Jesus, wow.
Exactly. And they quickly sold all those off for a quick buck, right? This is also where Sprint Wireless comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sprint was an acronym for Southern Pacific Railroad Internal Network Telecommunications. But they got spun off at this point and had to become a real phone company. And this is how a tremendous amount of land in California and the Southwest was liberated from the oppressive control of the railroad, and all that land is now owned by other types of assholes instead.
It's crazy to me that Scrooge McDuck was a real business model for like the first half of America's history. Just like somewhere there's a swimming pool full of gold coins, and this one company owns everything because there's some eccentric multi-billionaire whose assets can't even be listed, who just happens to, own a city because of a weird quirk of zoning.
Weird technicality,
yes.
Right.
So this one doesn't go through, but steps are taken to neuter and finally destroy the Interstate Commerce Commission, right? There's still appetite for more consolidation. Why do you need a chassis system and the family lines? Why do you need a Southern Railway and a Norfolk and Western? Why does Conrail exist at all?
Because they wouldn't let the union buy it, those motherfuckers.
Conrail was cool as hell, and we never should have broken it up and sold it.
Yes.
That should be like when you're that's up there with the post office for me. Like that is one of the great American institutions, and its disbanding was the severing of the line of prophecy. We now exist in a doomed world.
Yeah, I mean the Northeast Rail Network would probably make a lot more sense if Conrail was still around. So after the Staggers Rail Act of 1980 deregulated the railroad industry, and when I see deregulate here, that's sort of a very specific thing. Before then, the Interstate Commerce Commission would set, per mile freight rates for various different commodities the railroad transported. Like, okay, coal is this much per mile. Televisions is this much per mile. Washing machines is another amount per mile. Per unit or per unit of weight, right? Once they deregulated that, the railroads could set their own freight rates, which were generally lower than what the ICC wanted, because the ICC was trying to do it in terms of we need a balanced transportation system, and they also tended to set rates as like a percentage of the value of goods, as opposed to the modern way, which is the cost of transportation. So deregulation is sort of it's not as scary as it sounds. There was a lot of stuff probably had to happen. The other thing, though, is it made it much easier to start abandoning unprofitable branch lines. It did give you some amount of leverage over the unions that you didn't have before, because it was, easier to just say, well, it's not profitable to do this service anymore, so we can just cut it. Bye. But yeah, deregulation in 1980. I mean, it was
again.
It happened.
I mean, it's kind of like it. It feels sort of akin to, like, again, the airlines, where it's like some good initially came out of it, but it immediately went to shit, because the minute you stop like threatening corporations with a gun with anything that resembles a public utility, they will destroy everything in sight.
Yeah.
So they should just be nationalized to begin with. Like, there's no.
I agree.
It doesn't make any sense to have a utility owned by private companies, which is what a railroad is. It's what an airline is. All of these like basic building blocks of how our world is.
Pico, I'm looking your way.
Huh?
Said Pico, I'm looking your way. That's Philadelphia's energy company.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Exelon.
Well, that's like
Exelon,
if you if you ever want to get me like rah like absolutely jingoistic about Seattle, get me going about Seattle City Light, because we were the first city in America to be like, hey, we shouldn't have competing electric companies for the same block. Why would we build a bunch? Why would we each allow all of these companies to carve out their own little fiefdoms with building dams to and granted, there are ecological problems with that. That is very much like a white people came in and destroyed a bunch of land that people were using kind of situation. But at the very least, they were like, hey, what if we just built enough of these to serve the whole city and made it a public good instead of making it a privately owned, doing this bullshit. Anyway,
I always thought it'd be. I always enjoyed that era of electrification in cities, where it was like, yeah, we got 6 different competing electrical companies. They all use different voltages. Some of them are AC, some of them are DC. You have to buy proprietary appliances for your house.
Yeah. Genuinely incredibly stupid. Seattle just opted out of it a little bit earlier, and we happen to have a lot of water, and we were able to build a bunch of dams. So we actually have pretty clean power. Just don't ask about what happens to fish or anybody who lived on that land.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's a later problem. Anyway,
every telephone pole looks like a H.R. Geiger painting.
Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to throw that in about the railroads. Also, at this point, it's worth noting that like, the all the passenger service. Just I feel like probably everybody listening knows this, but all the passenger service got pushed onto Amtrak like at this point, like two decades ago, because they were like, that doesn't make the most money per minute of running an engine, so we're not going to do it.
Yeah,
because again, when it came to being a public service that people could actually use, they were like, fuck that. That goes up there with like delivering the farmer and his son the last mile tractor delivery, right? Like that isn't profitable.
That's not profitable, yeah. And I mean, just because we gave them half the country,
yeah.
Show me where and we let them have their own shows police up on a force.
Balance sheet.
Yeah. Well, what have you done for us lately? Okay, make Amtrak, whatever.
Yeah. And now, of course, like their stranglehold on all of the like actual trackage that we let them have, that they own because of land grants that we gave them, is why we can't fucking make passenger rail service worth a damn in the U.S. Anywhere at all.
Yes.
I know you've got more about this. Anyway. I still haven't recovered from my single interstate train trip 6 months ago.
I took the Lakeshore on Saturday and Sunday. Actually, that was quite nice. And we got in 7 minutes early.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
So demarketing and retrenchment had done their job at this point. These redundant lines had been removed. All these unprofitable branch lines, they'd been cut or spun off into tiny short lines, which had different work rules. So it was easier to run trains on there by paying people less. Government had given the green light to all of it. It was time to double down. Aiding in this was the complete destruction of the Interstate Commerce Commission in 1995 and its replacement by the much more business-friendly Surface Transportation Board. So
I assume.
The chassis system and family line systems become CSX, which doesn't stand for anything.
Yes,
it was a
chassis system extreme.
Chicken shit express.
Chicken shit express. Yeah. The Norfolk and Western and the Southern become the Norfolk Southern, right? The Union Pacific eats the Southern Pacific and the Denver and Rio Grande Western, and that becomes the Union Pacific. But once again, Southern Pacific management manages to eke their way up into the upper echelons of the new railroad, and the Union Pacific is the Southern Pacific, which is mostly the Southern Pacific survives in spirit this whole way as a horrible ghost.
A specter is haunting American railroading. But it's just Southern Pacific.
Yeah. The Burlington Northern and the Santa Fe become the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. That's easy enough. But the Union Pacific Southern Pacific merger was a disaster that resulted in this years-long service meltdown that was nearly as bad as like the early Penn Central.
Oh, hell right? Yeah.
They lost cars and entire trains. The yards were clogged with cars for unknown destinations. Everything slowed down, again, in accordance with Southern Pacific practices. The whole place is being rotted from the inside out. That's another story.
This is probably related, actually. So there's a couple of short lines there's a couple of conglomerates that own basically every short line left in the U.S. And I've noticed a lot of them tend to use
Genesee, Wyoming, yeah.
A lot of them tend to use like a Rio Grande
and Patriot Rail.
Patriot Rail, what a name.
Well, there was the Wheeling and Lake Erie out by me that they owned.
Right, Wheeling Lake Erie is I don't know who owns them, but they do use the Rio Grande paint scheme.
By any chance, did UP and Southern Pacific just sell off all the Rio Grande locomotives? And so a bunch of short lines got them. We're like, paint's expensive.
Well, no, I believe
the Wheeling and Lake Erie in particular, the reason they picked that paint scheme is because a bunch of Rio Grande guys went to work there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just like it.
The first time I saw that as a kid, I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I read it, and I was like, that still doesn't explain things, but okay.
Yeah. Conrail is split in half. Half of it goes to CSX, half of it goes to Norfolk Southern. And this gets us roughly to where we are today, right? The pair of duopolies. You got CSX and Norfolk Southern in the east. You got BNSF and Union Pacific in the west. And I'm not going to talk about Kansas City, Canadian Pacific, because that's too complicated.
And you can't make us.
So, anyway, so it's 2026 now. It's 10 years since all this stuff. Well, excuse me, 20 years, 30 years. I'm old.
You're old.
Yeah.
It is 2026 though, Roz. I can confirm that for you.
Yeah. So let's talk about some existential problems facing the modern railroad industry, right?
Hang on, I'm gonna go get a bottle. I'm gonna go just get my entire bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget to share.
Problem one, I'm listing these in no particular order. There's no locomotive builders anymore because of private equity.
So what do they do? You
cannot purchase a new locomotive anymore.
Will they just like refurbish them, or like how does that work?
It's mostly refurbished stuff, yeah.
So it's like a B-52. We're just gonna retrofit the airframes forever.
Forever, yeah.
Okay,
pretty much.
Fucking terrific. Good work, boys.
No one wants to work anymore.
Yeah. Well, I will say this is partially because of the EPA. recurring villain. And this is okay. I spent a lot of time in the truck yelling about this with Scooter on Friday or Saturday. So as part of new clean diesel regulations, there was a ramp up over the 21st century, making diesel engines, non-road diesel engines, cleaner. It was like, okay, that's in terms of like particulate pollution and nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxides, stuff like that, right? And you ramped up every couple years to a new tier of cleanliness, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. All of those were achieved through sheer fuel efficiency, which everyone liked. Then we hit tier 4. That was like 10 years ago now, which is when they had to bring out the big guns, right, to reduce particulate emissions and so on and so forth. And there were two ways of doing that, which I refer to as, you either drink the piss or huff the farts, right?
Give me huffing the farts. What
you have such a way with words.
Damn, dude.
So one option was you have something called diesel exhaust fluid, which is essentially urea. Yeah, and you inject that into the engine in such a way that it reduces nitrogen oxides.
They do this with trucking.
And Blue Tech Mercedes, right? Like that's blue in the Blue Tech.
Yeah, the blue juice. The railroads really didn't like this idea because they didn't want to set up a second distribution network for fuel.
Yeah, God, that sounds like infrastructure.
Yeah, no, they don't like that.
I can't fucking do that.
So drinking the piss was off the table. They moved to huffing the farts, right?
It's gonna be methane recapture. Please give me gas.
Exhaust gas recirculation.
Yeah.
Right? So you take the diesel engine, right? The idea is we're going to reduce the heat of combustion in the diesel engine, and that reduces the amount of these criteria pollutants that form, right? So you can't like add like cold air or something in there because that's just going to add more air. That's going to heat everything up when the combustion occurs. So you take some of the exhaust from the engine and you recirculate it back into the cylinders right? And that reduces the heat of combustion at the expense of horrible fuel efficiency and also destroying the engine block much quicker than it otherwise would. It's very bad for the engine. That's huffing the
engine.
farts. Yeah.
They again also a thing that they do in cars, and it's not as much of a problem as it used to be, obviously. But like when I had my my '80s Supra, a common early mod people would do is like get rid of the EGR. It kills the motor.
Yeah.
Which obviously marginally worse for the environment. But I haven't. Okay, Roz, I think Union Pacific needs to hire me. Well, Union Pacific-Norfolk. I have an idea.
Let's hear it.
So, what if instead of diesel locomotives, you put up a wire above the track, and you pulled you electrified it, and then you put a train underneath it that was electric, and you just put up like a thing that connected to the wire?
No, we forgot how to do that. It can't be done.
Lost technology.
I feel like I saw like a science video about this. It was on like I fucking love science or something back on Reddit. This is a doable thing, right? Like we could do that.
Yeah.
Wait, never mind. That's stupid. Let's do batteries instead.
Yeah, batteries. Yeah.
I mean the thing about it, the EGR is that it also increases CO2 emissions.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Luckily, that's not a problem.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah. So, okay, we've introduced this requirement for clean diesels.
Snowball index real quick. Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it. Just at this point, we're past the tipping point. Just keep admitting it. It's no big deal.
And the net result of this was basically railroads stopped ordering more locomotives because they're like, we got enough anyway. We don't need to deal with this fancy liberal bullshit. And I feel like there should have been a bigger, more holistic strategy here for environmental friendliness, which would have, involved electrification, like every other goddamn country in the world. But
yeah, fuck you, idiot.
No, that's we have sort of the general backwardness and decrepitude of the United States railroad network. Basic improvements like electrification are not considered even for like the highest traffic parts of the railroad. Like, the horrible grade out of Los Angeles heading towards like, Barstow or whatever. That would be an ideal spot for it because you could conserve so much energy from, the loaded trains coming down the grade, helping to power the empty trains up it. No, obviously we're not going to do that. That would make too much sense.
I live right next to the Cascades. It's one of the most difficult passes in like the entire country.
Another issue facing the railroads.
I liked that a lot.
Thank you. We used to have a solution to this. Anyway, go on.
Put up some goddamn wires.
No, it's a bike trail now.
Yeah. Labor and safety. The railroads want none of either.
Yeah. It saves weight, dude.
Yeah, exactly. We did have that. You may remember there was a large nationwide railroad strike that was imminent a couple years ago.
Thanks for nothing, Joe Biden, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, luckily Joe Biden, the most pro-labor president in history, stepped in and gave the railroads basically everything, right? Safety is going wrong in like exotic ways, right? Derailments overall are down, but so are the number of trains the railroad is running. So the number of derailments per train is actually going up, which is not good if you run the trains.
Rub a little dirt on it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
This reminds me of like the US loves doing shit like this where they're like, actually we're making really good progress because pedestrian fatalities were down last year on the way that America measures them, which is like
by road mile or whatever you
fatalities per million vehicle miles traveled.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
Which it only looks good because we drive such an insane fucking distance in this country that if you look at it on like a per capita basis, we're like worse than like Syria in road safety. Anyway, just funny to me.
Yeah.
God, I want to live in a real society.
Another couple problems, you got decentralization of industry. That's not great for railroads because a lot of times, railroads are good at, concentrating goods in one area, as opposed to serving a bunch of distant, areas, right? So it's much easier as a railroad to, go to an area that has 35 factories as opposed to 2. But, since we've decided to move industry either offshore or to the south, where it's all going to be in a field somewhere 100 miles from everything, that is an issue. That's an industrial geography issue. We also have heavy public subsidies to trucking, airports, inland waterways, so on and so forth. And the railroads themselves are not interested in asking for public subsidies themselves for like infrastructure improvements, because then they would have to do that. You have aging rolling stock, like the freight cars and so on and so forth. Especially if you're looking at stuff that's not like intermodal or containers. A lot of that stuff is getting up there in age. Now, the current regulation that the FRA has, the Federal Railroad Administration, is that you cannot operate a railroad car older than 50 years old in what's called interchange service. That is, you transfer it between railroads, right? A lot of stuff is about to hit that number. And it looks like they're actually, rather than trying to step in and build new railroad cars, they're just going to say, okay, you can apply for a 10-year waiver.
I thought it was supposed to. I thought we were trying to build stuff again. What's more masculine than using a hammer to put together a train car? Come on!
Building a railroad car, that sounds like some gay liberal shit.
Finally, a factory job that is composed entirely of trans women in the workforce. There's so many dolls who would be first in line to go work at the Great American Rail Car Factory.
Yes, fucking. There's some guys in a pickup truck trying to roll coal at you, like this is the new. Wow, some blue-haired railroad car worker.
It's called Pull Man. What are you doing? You can't make the train cars woke.
They're making the freaking train cars gay, folks. You also have a situation with the previous retrenchment and demarketing and so on and so forth. The chickens are coming home to roost, right? There's too few tracks for too many trains now. There's a lot of places you look at. I think a good example is like the Pennsylvania main line from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, where all of a sudden, with the amount of traffic on the railroad these days, especially with intermodal and stuff, it's like, it might be good to have had all those 4 tracks.
Nope, fuck you.
You do have this large backlog of infrastructure investments that could be made, and you have, you could solve that problem by using all the money the railroad is making, because we are in an era of record profits.
Ooh, well, I'm sure they'll get past that.
Those go to stock buybacks.
Duh. Fuck you for thinking anything could ever be made better.
We just gotta fucking... Oh, God.
All these people. Yeah, sorry, Devin.
I was trying to...
Yeah.
Just, oh, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I forget the exact number. I want to say over the past 10, 12 years, railroads have invested $100 billion, excuse me. That's the type of money you're looking at for like nationwide high-speed rail network, or if not that, nationwide average speed rail network. You know, they invested that much money into stock buybacks, which
it's insane. It's insane how much money we are just plowing directly into rich people's pockets.
Yeah, that's pretty much the equivalent of setting that money on fire.
Yeah, like it doesn't even do anything there. It just sits in there, like essentially it takes out of circulation. It's just like, hey, all this potential wealth we could do anything else with. Yeah, this is just so these people like feel better about themselves. And I guess like, you know, the yacht industry is doing well. It's insane.
I wouldn't be surprised that the yacht industry is somehow doing really badly right now. I'm going to be honest.
Right now, billionaires love yachts.
I was thinking, it's a productive part of the economy.
Well, the thing is,
it's got to be screwed somehow.
You can buy a yacht. Meanwhile, Washington can't fucking build ferries anymore because all of our shipyards are closing, and nobody's got dry docks that they could build a car hauling like a ro-ro ferry at anymore for any kind of reasonable price.
Oh God,
it's been a huge problem. We're sending the ferry construction to Florida, which feels like, I don't know. It feels like asking like Mercedes-Benz to build like, United States fleet vehicles circa 1939, but what do I know?
We'll take the Third Reich.
Hey, Philadelphia shipyard's expanding.
Yeah, we're getting a cruise terminal. Might already have it.
Is that
no.
Is that where they're going to build the Trump class battleship?
Stop it.
I don't know. No, they would build that probably in Newport News.
That would have been a good goddamn news one. Is that Trump fired the Secretary of the Navy because he wanted a ship that was physically impossible to build in 2 years' time.
Look, if you can build a Liberty ship in 3 days.
USS, we built this yesterday. Hell yeah.
I wrote down private equity here. Private equity is like less of a problem than you might think, at least with the class 1 railroads, the big ones, right? Some of the smaller railroads, though, they are going crazy on those guys.
Looking into like any of the regional rail stuff, it's just like a great way to want to kill yourself. Sorry, too dark?
No, dark enough, but no, not too dark.
Sorry, I'm in a bad mood today.
Dark like Norfolk Southern.
Look at that. Thoroughbreds, baby.
Yeah. You have... this is always one that like fucks with my brain. There are chunks of the National Railroad Network that only exist because of Amtrak. Like the Santa Fe Transcontinental Railroad. The only train that uses a good chunk of that is the Southwest Chief.
Really?
It would not exist otherwise. They would have abandoned it. Like a whole transcontinental railroad. I think it was Richard Young said something along the lines of, once you lose the passenger trains, you lose the railroad. This attrition would be much more quick if Amtrak did not exist.
Got it.
You also have precision scheduled railroading, which is sort of, it was supposed to be this model where we had lots of fast freight trains moving cars very quickly from one yard to another, increasing what they call car velocity, which is just the average speed of each railroad car, right? And what you wound up with instead was every single train runs on the Southern Pacific model, really long, slow, miserable freight trains everywhere, right?
This is why they have trains that don't fit in the yards.
Exactly. And they get robbed. And that's part of the cost of doing business.
And then that's when the Union Pacific cops show up at your house and shoot you.
Mm-hmm. And overall, this has all been in service of focus on these insane, unsustainable operating ratios, right? The operating ratio is essentially how many cents per dollar are spent on running the railroad. And it used to be like a good operating ratio was 80%, right? For every dollar I take in, I spend 80% of it on running the railroad, 80 cents. Now executives are aiming for under pressure from stockholders and so on and so forth. They're aiming for operating ratios of like 60 or 55%, which
that's insane.
You should probably invest some of this money into the railroad.
No.
But no, they are invested in stock buybacks, which is again setting the money on fire.
Literally ripping the copper out of the walls. Like I think this is what makes like transportation drive me so insane in like the present day, is because it is so easy to be like, yeah, this money is being ripped out of this project, this public good, specifically to go to these guys, and you can literally see the effect year over year on the infrastructure that everybody depends on for life to continue. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of this could be solved with, serious reform and a lot of spending, like right now, major infrastructure investments, industrial policy that rebuilds the locomotive industry, refocus these sort of absurd non-road diesel regulations into like railroad electrification, right? Policies that put safety first, reforms the Railway Labor Act so that these labor agreements that the most pro-labor president in history, Joe Biden, put into place could actually be enforced, right? Probably some public subsidy for rail infrastructure, especially if passenger trains are using it, as like a national program, not like like little stupid projects everywhere, right? Reinvestment into what do you call the carload freight system? That's box cars, tank cars, flat cars, so on. Everything that's not containers, right? So we don't have so many last mile truck deliveries, and you can afford to build a new box car again, which is currently a huge issue. A new box car right now will likely not pay for itself over the 50-year life of the car.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Have they tried using a substance other than gold to construct them?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's the problem. They sold off the gold mines.
Yeah. We were all vertically integrated, and now we can't have anything.
Yeah. We got to reban stock buybacks. You need policies that divert more kinds of freight to the railroad. There's a lot of work to be done that can bring the railroads back up to snuff, right? We're constantly told that the American Freight Railroad is the best in the world, as they deliver every single car like a week late, and then they blow up a town due to negligence. These are fixable problems, right? That could be solved with a concerted effort by the government, good, smart policies, so on and so forth. It would leave everyone better off.
Well, except us. We need them to blow up towns occasionally for episodes.
Yeah, we got to go back to the content mines,
that would be a big issue. Yeah.
Get better, but not too much better, guys.
Hi, it's Justin. So this is a commercial for the podcast that you're already listening to. People are annoyed by these, so let me get to the point. We have this thing called Patreon, right? The deal is you give us $2 a month, and we give you an extra episode once a month. Sometimes it's a little inconsistent, but it's $2. You get what you pay for. It also gets you our full back catalog of bonus episodes, so you can learn about exciting topics like guns, pickup trucks, or pickup trucks with guns on them. The money we raise through Patreon goes to making sure that the only ad you hear on this podcast is this one. Anyway, that's something to consider if you have $2 to spare each month. Join at patreon.com/WTYP pod. Do it if you want. Or don't. It's your decision, and we respect that. Back to the show. What if there was a workaround, though? What if we could improve the railroad instead by just making it really, really big?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the mega merger, Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern. the horse and Uncle Pete are getting together to form America's first transcontinental railroad.
I am one of like Union Pacific's 15 Blue Sky followers, and I keep getting posts from them about like we assure you this is a very popular thing that is going to benefit everybody in America.
Fuck off.
Don't you worry.
Stop fucking horses.
We're not going to degrade the service. It's going to be fantastic for everybody. It is very funny.
Boy.
Yep,
that their Blue Sky account has perfect PR speak. It feels kind of out of place.
So
Union Pacific, what do you feel about the Philadelphia Eagles draft picks?
It's like a stray Threads account made its way over to Blue Sky.
So this is interesting because it is one of the first, what you would call an end-to-end merger in several decades. End-to-end meaning Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern do not share very many overlapping routes. So, there's not going to be too much in terms of like economies of scale here. There's not going to be like line abandonments to a large extent, or like consolidating maintenance facilities or so on and so forth. This is going to be, we're just taking two railroads and making them into one bigger railroad. Although there probably will be cutbacks in certain areas, especially for management. We don't care about them.
No.
This was announced July 29th, 2025. It was approved by 99% of shareholders. Something $85 billion to acquire Norfolk, yada, yada. Who cares about money? How does this affect the physical railroad, its customers, its employees, us ultimately? All right, let's go look at what might happen. I thought I'd be generous, see if there's any good things that might happen. So that this is the good. So now we have one railroad that runs coast to coast. Interesting.
We did it.
Yeah.
It only took like what, 250 years on the dot? Time to disband the country. Never mind.
It's done.
Had a good run.
We finished it. Yeah.
God, it'd be very funny if by the time this episode comes out, some interesting things have happened geopolitically.
This means, theoretically, if you're running a transcontinental freight train, you don't have to switch cars or switch locomotives or anything when you hit the Mississippi River, which is usually when that changeover happens today, right? This is the big top line benefit that's being heavily marketed by Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern.
On their Blue Sky account.
Yeah, on their Blue Sky account.
To 15 people, including Victoria for some reason.
I wanted to get updates on when they were bringing out the Heritage Fleet stuff. Because Union Pacific still runs the Big Boy, and I want to see it.
Oh, I got the schedule.
Can you send that to me, please?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
I don't think they're coming to Seattle.
They're not yet.
Not yet, yeah. Well, they gotta. Well, that'll be when the other mega merger happens. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Hyper merger.
So
they're gonna start running out of letters soon.
BNSFUPNS 7.
Oh, no,
CSX was hogging it by taking 3 letters.
They have already established that the name of the merged railroad will be Union Pacific.
They should just change it back to Southern Pacific, just for the bit.
Honestly, though, yeah. Well, the funny part is that...
What about Union Atlantic Pacific if they're going to make it transcontinental?
Oh, they're never going to give up that branding.
No, I know. Gee, I hate your propaganda.
They're making all that money from those Bachman starter sets that you get.
Exactly.
Like 10-year-old kid to get hooked on trains.
Yeah, that's like that's like the equivalent of the loyalty program for airlines. That's where the real money is made. So yeah, it's going to be a real transcontinental railroad. It's going to be cool and stuff, right? Well, this is maybe less of a benefit than you might think. I mean, so like what freight is going transcontinental? Anyone?
Not much.
Anyone?
Not much.
Chemicals, maybe?
Just like not chemicals. Very much of anything. Yeah. I mean, that's the dirty secret here.
Because what would you
do have like certain like domestic intermodal trains that go like already are scheduled to go very fast all the way across the country. But those already have arrangements where when they're interchanged between railroads, they try and do that as quickly as possible, right? So that doesn't change too much with one big railroad, right? If you're
Instead
shipping
of one
like
big railroad, what if we had one big union join the IWW?
Yeah. And certainly, if you're shipping stuff in from China on a ship, right? You're not going to have any real benefit from, unloading in Los Angeles to get to, I don't know, the big container terminal out in Harrisburg, right?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. So I was like, I guess you could like deliver cars to Los Angeles and then ship them by train to New York, but why not just put the cars in New York?
Just use the Panama Canal,
Yeah, at that point.
So what you're saying is this would make sense if we close down the Panama Canal.
Oh, we don't give them ideas.
Oh God. Well, that might happen incidentally.
Roz, how would you feel about another war?
You love it, don't you?
No, so your biggest winners actually are sort of in here, right? Yeah. If you're a shipper in like the Midwest or like Louisiana or somewhere, East Texas, something like that, because we no longer have to switch railroads in a complicated way. If you're shipping like a boxcar from, I don't know, Dayton to Topeka or like Nashville to Wichita or something like that.
What do they even make it Dayton anymore?
Like, what do they make it?
I've been to Dayton and like it is very much a Rust Belt city.
I bet they do make something there, but I can't think of what it is offhand.
I mean, they've got the really cool Air Force Museum. They could put the nuclear R&D, train back in service.
Isn't Wright-Patterson there? I mean, there's got to be something fucking around. Malt product. Well, I searched Dayton, Ohio factories, and I came up with Malt Products Corp. Dayton. So
I have a covered hopper full of malt products.
All right. I like
and
malt
I'm
products.
shipping it. Yeah, I'm shipping it to Topeka, Kansas. Before, it wouldn't make a lot of sense because it would have to go up to Chicago and get sorted in a yard, and then get shipped over to the other railroad's yard, and then get sorted again, and then go down to Wichita. Now it can go directly, which means it's competitive with trucking, right? The fact that the railroad requires, classifying and reclassifying cars over and over again, it costs time and money, right? And that's why even for large shipments that aren't that time sensitive, sometimes it is still more economical to use, 10 trucks as opposed to 2 train cars.
Okay.
So this is why, this area of the country, you would likely see more freight mode shift towards rail, if I'm being generous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the capacity to actually add more trains?
Yeah, most likely.
Okay. All right, cool.
A lot of these lines are not.
So the Blue Sky account did not fully lie to me. Something good could happen.
Yes.
All right.
Maybe.
Another potentially good thing is, I would say Union Pacific is a little bit better at maintenance than Norfolk Southern is, but that's also a result of having newer infrastructure in general. I was
going to say that's an incredible statement after I've seen a bunch of their locomotives.
Yeah.
I have never seen so many graffiti bombed locomotives that I have on Union Pacific like freight yards. It's crazy. They don't even bother repainting them anymore.
That's just extra paint. It's good for it. Stops corrosion. Another benefit is that finance journalists will stop referring to Norfolk Southern as just Norfolk.
Yes, those are different fucking things.
Yeah, Norfolk is a town, not a railroad. Another potential benefit, but I'm skeptical of this one. Okay, welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love Chicago.
Yeah, me too.
So this is something that happens in Chicago every day. This is the 47th Street yard that Norfolk Southern owns, right? You can notice up here, happened just recently. They demolished a whole neighborhood to expand this yard.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. You didn't think they could still pull that shit off. Nope, they have eminent domain powers.
Which is insane. Oh my god. Meanwhile, if you try to like put a rail line through a cornfield somewhere, that 10,000 people would use it per day. It has to get logged up in environmental review and lawsuits for the rest of your life. And Norfolk Southern can just drop a bomb on a Chicago neighborhood and be like, yeah, we might use this.
Yeah, fuck off.
Oh my god.
Theoretically, with a Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern merger, the need for facilities like this, where you have to nuke a neighborhood, that will be lessened. But we have to ask ourselves, okay, what actually happens in an intermodal yard like this one, right? Let's say I am shipping a container from Los Angeles to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is where the big container terminal for Philadelphia is. It goes on a BNSF train to Chicago, along with 19 other containers to the same destination in stacks of 2 on 10 well cars, right? These will need to get from BNSF's intermodal yard to Norfolk Southern's intermodal yard to be put on the train to Harrisburg. How do you do this?
Presumably you just shuttle them between the 2 yards with another train?
Now, that
God damn it.
makes a lot of sense, right? That would be a good way to do it. And you are wrong.
You stupid dummy.
Oh, man, I'm batting 0.
Yeah. Instead, they do something called drayage, right?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah. So drayage comes from the term dray. A dray is a shitty horse-drawn cart that brought goods from a ship to a warehouse, right? Modern drayage.
Man, that's gonna be a strong-ass horse to pull an entire
Yeah.
intermodal container.
I had to explain this to my boss the other day. I was like, she was like, why do truckers go bankrupt so much? I was like, all right, here we go.
So modern day drayage is also very shitty.
They don't use horses?
No. I mean, they treat the people worse than the horses.
God damn it.
They don't get free oats or anything.
Here's how you do drayage. Step 1, you find an undocumented immigrant, right? Step 2, you tell them about this great rent-to-own scheme, right? If you pay us monthly, we'll pay you to drive this big rig for us, and when you pay it off, it's yours. Obviously, there's no equity involved, right?
Yeah, it's vicious.
Step 3, said undocumented immigrant drives the containers from one railroad yard to another railroad yard through residential neighborhoods full of kids and old ladies and stuff. They do that for a few months. You know, we're transferring all of these containers on trucks from one yard to another, all using, these undocumented drayage drivers, right? These drivers are also responsible for the fuel and the maintenance on the big rig, right?
Fucking kidding me?
No, this is like half my dad's bankruptcy clients were drayage truckers.
Yeah.
Literally half.
Step 4, wait for the undocumented immigrant to fall behind on payments and you repossess the truck. And step 5, if that guy complains about it, you call ICE. And that's how you move containers around through Chicago neighborhoods while paying the driver a negative wage.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh. Jesus. I really like really like to think that I am pretty negatively polarized against America already. And no further information I can learn.
Not enough, sweet girl.
And it's not true. I could get more upset. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
no, this is This is a nasty business right here.
So you're telling me that this is, I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're paying the guy negative money, it's probably cheaper than if you actually had to, like,
than just
use
to
a train.
roll the cars half a mile.
Yeah.
No, instead we gotta, and again, you're driving through like neighborhoods full of kids and stuff. You're ruining everyone's day doing this. So theoretically, in a situation where Norfolk Southern and Union Pacific merge, this whole rigmarole could be avoided since trains could bypass Chicago. And this is one of the big selling points of the merger. We're going to stop rubber tire container transfers, right? And in practice, a lot of trains already bypass Chicago. In terms of like a situation where you're sorting, containers onto different trains bound for different destinations. I mean, unless you have to actually, change practices. I feel like you need to make a conscious effort to get rid of this stuff. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be like, oh, well, we can run the train around Chicago. That doesn't necessarily mean they will, right?
Right.
There's plenty of services where, trains are quickly handed off between railroads right now. And I would imagine if you're opening up, new container shipping lanes, like again, to like, I don't know, Columbus to, I don't know, Dubuque. You're still doing a lot of rubber tire transfers in Chicago. I feel like if they really wanted to, they could end this practice now. You could be normal and just have a local train shift stuff around, that's driven by a guy who's paid well and he's in a union, right? His wage is positive. But I feel like this negative wage thing is a tough nut to crack if, you're a rational investor. You're like, do the most evil thing possible at all times to make money.
I can't think of a way to crack this nut, but I am going to sound a little bit like kind of transgender Stalin. So,
actually, there are certain things that need to be done to whoever came up with this business model.
Genuinely, that would be just a net benefit for humanity.
They are not pleasant things.
Nope. We're in the business of unpleasant things. That's our whole brand, man.
But I mean, ultimately, I guess the positive benefit is I don't think it's going to get rid of this practice. I think it will. You'll be able to. I don't know. You'll be able to ship an intermodal container from Shreveport to Roanoke or something more easily. But I think the horrible injustices will continue to happen.
The one guarantee in America.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have brought myself some alcohol for this episode. Jesus Christ, this is bleaker than I thought it would be.
All right, so let's go to the bad stuff.
Oh my
God. All right. So, folks, it's time to take off your leftist hat, which I assume is like some kind of like Russian hat, doohickey, right? Put on your hard hat and your PPE. The Ushanka, yeah. Put on your hard hat and your PPE. We're all chemical industry guys now.
All right, I'm just your dad.
Yeah, pretty much. That is the disclaimer. My dad works for American Chemistry Council, which has come out very hard against this merger.
You guys, not you guys, your dad's guys have a thing on their webpage that's just rail merger. I will drop the link in the chat to wow, you guys are not you guys, but your dad's guys are serious. God damn.
They are not happy about this. Yeah. Anyway, plastics make it possible.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
So there are lots of captive shippers on the railroad network. These are people who make products that can't really be shipped in a practical way other than by rail, right? So if you make a chemical that melts your face off, right?
Yeah,
and it's like a crucial ingredient in like baby food or something, right? You want to ship that product to the baby food factory by rail rather than by a truck, where you're going to have a face melting chemical spill due to a fender bender like every other month, right?
Yeah.
It is much better to ship very dangerous chemicals by rail as opposed to by truck, because, as much as we complain about, the state of the railroad in terms of like derailments and accidents and stuff like that,
literally everything is safer than being a car or a truck.
Yeah, it's orders of magnitude safer. Yeah.
We could do the helicopter collision with airplanes every day for the next year and still like not quite get to number of road fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
We could just do the crush it crash or crash it crush every day.
Yes.
Crash it crush. Oh yeah.
Crash it crush. I always get it mixed up. But yeah, you could just do that every day. We'd still be safer than trucking.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now those shippers, they have the illusion of choice, right? You theoretically, if one railroad doesn't want to take your product, you can ask the other railroad and they might do it. There's a lot of solidarity between these railroads though. But the consolidation here is going to give Union Pacific a lot of leverage against these captive shippers. They can increase freight rates. They can provide minimal service, right? They could demarket the service altogether, because hazmat is expensive and complicated to ship. And railroads hate expensive and complicated, right? It makes the profit number sad.
Number go down, and when the bond.
Yeah, and the profit number is synonymous with the public interest.
They already make so much money.
Yeah, but they have to make more is the thing.
More.
I'm still not satisfied.
I like your Emperor Palpatine impression. That was pretty
Oh,
good.
No, I was doing Tom Lehrer.
Good enough.
Yeah. So we need to, if the profit number ultimately, because we have publicly traded companies, that is synonymous with the public interest. So, in the interest of the profits, maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll just have to accept, the face melting chemical truck whacking into a school bus every once in a while. It's for the greater good, right?
Mm-hmm. I can't even riff anymore. You could literally cook an egg on me. I'm so mad at this point. The recording
got that Alex
this
Jones
one really
face.
Got me. I don't know why. Like every week, it's like something horrible happened explicitly for profit, and it always irritates me. But this one is just like I am so mad.
Yeah, you're taking a lot of psychic damage this week, folks.
I just genuinely I could feel it the radiating heat off my skin.
But yeah, this is one of that. But I don't speak for American Chemistry Council, but this has always been one of their. Yeah, I guess I speak. This is exactly what my dad would say. No,
unzip my skin and I'm Dan Rosniak.
Oh shit!
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's they've had a lot of frustrations with the railroads, sort of being like, why do we have to ship all this hazmat exactly? It's like because.
God and man
blow up on the interstate.
We killed millions of people and gave you 2/3 of the land in the country. In exchange, you have to haul dangerous things.
Yes. yeah. I mean,
Jesus Christ!
Do your civic duty, fuck faces.
Your end of the deal. It's another bad thing.
Oh boy.
Union Pacific hates Amtrak. I mean, so does Norfolk Southern.
So do I.
I think Union Pacific is the only railroad that has like aggressively sought private operators to take over Amtrak service on the rails, which has not worked.
That's the whole reason Amtrak exists.
Yeah.
It's because that doesn't work.
Yeah,
because these assholes are too focused on making money.
Yes. But if you have this huge consolidated railroad, it has a lot more leverage against regional transit authorities and things like that. They might want to come in and like run commuter trains on Union Pacific tracks. I don't think this is going to affect existing services, but they will have a lot more leeway to prevent like new commuter trains or regional trains or so on and so forth. Right. And they can also impose like onerous engineering requirements for transit lines or other construction paralleling the Union Pacific tracks, because they develop all the standards and they keep all the knowledge, because we don't like have really railroad engineering education in the United States. I mean, I think it's like at
Penn State Altoona,
and there's one out west. Not Purdue. I don't remember where it is. So yeah, they keep all that knowledge under lock and key. So of course, if you want to build a light rail next to the Union Pacific line, you need a 2-foot thick, 20-foot tall concrete crash barrier, right? And of course, bigger railroad, more leverage against workers in the unions, right? You guys pipe down or we'll make your facility redundant. That's what mergers are for, right?
Well, I'm bad.
It's too bad we didn't have like the most pro-labor president in history, right?
Yeah.
So we could have like future-proofed for this
jackass.
God,
fuck you,
too
dickhead.
bad.
Yeah. I mean, since this is like an end-to-end merger, closure of redundant routes is probably going to be pretty minimal, but not absent. Closure of redundant facilities will also probably be minimal. You can still threaten people with it, and you still will be losing jobs one way or another. And we lose a paint scheme. Everything's going to be armor yellow.
They're never repainting all that stuff. Come on.
That's
that costs
true.
Money.
Yeah. That costs money.
There will still be the prancing horse running around the U.S. until the death of the U.S. Much like the B-52.
That sounds about right.
One can know about the death of the U.S., not anything else. I kind of like the B-52. I kind of like the whole, we're just going to sit here forever.
Actually, Union Pacific usually repaints everything pretty quickly.
Yeah, fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah, there's like no...
That means they're going to put more of that stupid flag on it, though.
They're going to make
I hate the American flag locomotive. It doesn't... One, from a graphic design perspective, it sucks. And two, I fucking hate seeing the American flag everywhere because of a blue-haired, miserable communist. So,
Blue-haired, miserable railroad car assembler.
That's right.
Yeah.
I work at Pullwoman, and I use a hammer to put together boxcars all day. maybe that's what I should change my career into.
The ugly. Okay.
Oh, boy.
This is going to result in a second round of mega mergers.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if this goes through, CSX and BNSF have to merge. I know Warren Buffett doesn't want to do it. He has said so publicly, but he might have to. And that leads to the inevitable, right? One big railroad in private hands.
God damn, we're so good at inventing hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this results in a huge part of the nation's infrastructure.
What is that British comedy sketch show where they do the bit about sending the pedophile into space? And they're like, this is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
I think
that's how I feel about this.
I think that was Mitchell and Webb.
This is the exact opposite outcome of what we wanted.
Yeah.
This is the Wario of having a working train system.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit me with it, Roz. Hit me with the ugly.
All right. So the inevitable is one big railroad in private hands, right?
Well, it could be one big union in public hands.
Exactly.
Join the
and there'll be there's with these railroads, right? Even now, but I'm sure even worse in the future. There's no accountability to the public. There's no accountability to even national interest. Like, we don't have industrial policy in this country, so it's not like we can say it would be good if the railroads did this. It would be bad if they did that. As a government, even like a cynical sort of, as a nation building thing, or as I don't know, it's all the whims of the shareholders
who are freaks.
And, yeah, they're craven as a group. I'm sure individually, they can want good things. As a group, shareholders are craven lunatics with a death wish. It's who cares if these decisions result in a train blowing up my house? I want to see the returns.
And this is the thing: is like that's the whole point of doing industrial regulation, is so that you make it so that the cost of blowing up a town is actually noticeable.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, not to put on my tanky hat too hard, but I do think that the model of occasionally you take some of these guys out back and shoot them. That China has for their industrial accidents. Huh?
You do understand why Stalin and Lenin just shot everybody.
You do. Yeah. You really begin to understand when you look at this, because it's like, there are no consequences. So like every single person's individual interest is in blowing up the town, except for the people that live there, and they have no recourse. Fuck you. Your house blew up. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah,
we're going to build a train yard over top of it. How you like that? That smoldering ruin of your house, that's ours now. Eminent domain, bitch.
Eminent domain, bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
God damn it.
Oh, she's bad, folks.
Thomas came to dinner with a tank car of sulfuric acid.
The back controller laughed. We're going to take your house.
Fat controller laughed. Too bad.
I hate this place.
So, essentially, with this merger, it's a situation where there may be some minor benefits for some railroad shippers and customers in some parts of the country, and some benefits to shareholders, which they won't notice because most of their money's in AI bullshit, right? And everything else gets, yeah.
Humanoid robots are the future.
If you're looking for returns right now, the railroad is not the place that is going to give you gangbusters money. This is a drop in the bucket in everyone's portfolio compared to, I don't know, some AI bullshit. Yeah. This will have some benefits to the shareholders, and everything else gets worse and stupider.
Great.
Hooray.
Yeah. What else is new?
I love this show.
This place is hell.
This show bumps me out so much, man. We got to kill these fucking people.
I think I'm just going to walk into the Puget Sound when we finish recording this.
I do like that we are on the side of the American Chemistry Council. Our fabled brothers.
ACC is woke now.
Making plastic, so that's leftist, baby.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Dan.
Oh, God damn it.
Those blue-haired chemical industry guys. And the railroad car constructors. So here's the real question.
What happens to
Will
Big
it
Boy?
happen? That is the big boy.
I said what'll happen to Big Boy. Hopefully they, I don't know, run it on the main line.
They're going to keep that as a propaganda machine.
They are.
Yeah.
It does work on me, unfortunately. When they do the Garfield image of like, you are not immune, this is what they're talking about for me specifically. I'm just sitting there like, I love this shit.
Yeah, I'm going to go out to see it when it comes to Philly. Yeah,
me too. Send me that schedule.
Yeah, I will do so.
Thank you.
So, a few months ago now, the Surface Transportation Board rejected the merger proposal, but only on technical grounds.
Ugh.
They wanted a longer report.
You fuck
Run
faces.
that shit through Claude, baby.
Yeah. So they're going to give this another go in 2027, and I don't really see any reason why in the current political climate they would reject the merger.
Yeah, there's no way this doesn't go through.
Especially since Donald John Trump kicked the token liberal, Robert E. Primus. He kicked him off the board last year.
Ugh.
So there's 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat on there. This is supposed to be a nonpartisan or equally partisan board, but there's 2 vacant seats.
It's just, oh my God, it's fucking. Railroads are such a great way to realize that, like, if you want to improve anything, the law is very clear that you cannot do that. If you want to make shit worse, it's fucking Calvin Ball. Voting Rights Act? Yeah, you got to spend the rest of your life and probably die for it. Removing it? Shit. Yeah. Fuck
no
it.
problem.
Yeah. Fuck you for even thinking things could ever be better. Anyway.
Yeah.
God damn.
How you doing over there, Victoria?
The deck here is very definitely stacked in favor of Union Pacific. They were like really big Trump donors, and I don't know, they'll probably let him get in the cab of the big boy when it comes east this summer.
Yep. CEO of Union Pacific, home address.
I would. I will say.
Oh, look, that guy has got one. No.
I will say, putting me in the cab of the big boy would work on me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, like,
we're all human.
It's like the opposite of when Trump got into Tesla. It was like everything's computer. It's like the anti-everything. This is what I want the interior of my new car to look like. I want a bunch of steam and knobs.
Oh, they had to put a positive train control box in it. So there is computer on it now.
God damn it. We can't have anything. Fucking iPad baby in the train cab. Jesus Christ.
So, what can be done?
Oh, people.
Yeah, I know,
fucking right? People. You heard me. With a gun or a cannon or an anti-aircraft gun or some sort of, I don't know, halberd or pike or mace or
no. Come on, man. We just gotta do nudge theory, you know?
No, I'm not doing nudge theory.
If we just offer some small business loans to people to start their own railroad in competition, the free market
president in history
assuredly mean that the better world we all want would magically come into existence.
Pricks.
Sorry, Devin.
What's the alternative? Is there a future where this doesn't happen? You know, maybe, I don't know, Congress could block it or something. Who cares?
Come on.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm really positive that, like, they're going to burn political capital on, like, pissing off the railroads.
Yeah.
They should. Fuckers.
We're, like, well past the point where, you know, fiddling around the edge is going to have any real results in the public interest, right? The only real long-term solution is nationalizing the railroads, making them accountable to the public, to the government, to someone, right? And this is a hard sell in the United States of America when all these railroads are are making record profits, and the only people really aware of the disorganization and the mismanagement are the folks in this increasingly sidelined part of the economy where people do things and make stuff.
The blue hairs, yes.
Yeah, exactly. The blue hairs that pull woman and the chemical plants.
Chemical plants, yes. Woke DuPont was not a phrase I was ready to hear.
I work at Woken Haas. So I figured I would shout out the Public Rail Now campaign, which is organizing to try and make this hard sell, to point out what is surprisingly obvious. Our nation's railroad network is not in service to the public. It's serving a mob of investors and shareholders who are incapable of rational or long-term decisions as a group, right? This is not hard to point out. All the other infrastructure out there is public. Why not the railroads?
God, a 5-year plan would hit so good right now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Plus, as noted before, there's an enormous amount of external problems to the industry that private ownership is not going to solve. So anyway, I'll leave a link to the campaign in the description. Get involved, or do something. Just, I don't know. Let's not be completely hopeless,
Attaboy, Raz.
Maybe generative AI will make an app to fix the railroads. I don't know.
I think I learned too much this episode.
Yeah, I'm really mad now.
I didn't like this one. Roz, usually when you do a trains episode, I'm in for a good time. What the hell was this, man? How could you do this to me?
You are burdened with the knowledge that I have.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
You must share this burden with me.
I consider myself like pretty aware of how bad everything is, especially with railroads.
No, it's always worse and stupider.
I'm going to the Shapes place. See y'all.
Going to the Shape store.
Oh.
Go to the Shape store. You want anything?
Yeah. Well, what did we learn?
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, seconded actually. We learned that America
has pricks.
That's what we learned. Sucked. And it turns out that just better things aren't possible ever.
bring back the alphabet soup era.
Oh yeah, I could like take over the block of trolley track, and just that's my charter.
Hell yeah, dude!
The block of trolley track in my backyard. Call it the Roz and the Roz Pacific.
The Roz and Roz Pacific.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I fuck with that.
Meanwhile, the thing that's really just like driving me insane is like they're talking about taking dedicated trackage for the sounder out of the Washington State Rail Plan, because they're like, well, it's kind of expensive, and we don't really have the money, and it's like pittance compared to what these railroads make, and the whole reason we can't run more commuter rail to make it into like an actual regional rail service because stuff. And Union Pacific won't fucking give more time to the regional rail. Oh my god.
Yep.
There's like actual problems in the city I live in that are caused directly by these assholes, and so they're just getting more money forever. Liam, you've raised your hand in the Zencaster. What do you have to say?
I have nothing good to say. Devin's already going to be mad at me. It's just like the better things aren't possible shit where we're all holding hands and chanting better shit isn't possible because we're Matty Iglesias now. It's just fucking exhausting. That's kind of all I have to say about this. Public rail now. Join the IWW. Light these people on fucking John Roberts with a gun. Yeah, what else did we fucking learn? I don't know. I hate this place, man. All right. Give me safety third, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Shake hands with danger. Hello, Justin, Liam, Nova, and Gareth, even if he's not there.
The chopped liver?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
I've been on like 25 episodes at this point.
We're going through the old ones. Someone DM'd me to be like, did you get my safety third? I sent it last year. I was like, I don't know, man. I'll look.
I don't think this one's even that old.
Well,
fuck you, Victoria. You get nothing.
If you ever message me and I don't respond, it's because I'm terrible at it. Put that out there for the public domain so he knows.
Same.
Yeah.
A few years back, I was a machinist apprentice at a workshop of a prestigious university in Germany.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. In these 3 years, I accumulated many stories that would fit this segment, including overloading a freight elevator and overwriting its software to use it, despite a computer voice warning that the weight limit had been exceeded.
Yeah, fuck them.
That same elevator getting stuck on a different occasion and catching fire and having to carry a 250-kilogram electric forklift up a flight of stairs by hand with 3 other guys because, you guessed it, the freight elevator happened to be out of order due to being on fire. But that's not what I want to talk about today.
Oh, okay.
What I want to talk about is the disassembly of a lathe.
Nova.
The whole ordeal could fill several pages of its own, but I'll try and keep it short. Every now and then, a work safety guy comes in to review the safety features of the machines in the shop. The guy in question is known to be pedantic, so my Meister was in a bad mood. Whenever this happened, we got tasked with some Arbeitsbeschaffungsgespann. Hold on. Arbeitsbeschaffungsgespann Beschafensmaßnahme.
Not a real language. Sorry.
A job creation measure to keep us out of the shop until the inspection was over.
Oh, a make work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We didn't fight them in the fields of Belgium
we won.
to speak German.
We won, dickhead.
In this case, we were to go to the basement, where a big and very ancient lathe was located in one of the shop's additional machinery rooms.
Why is that phrase in scare quotes? That's alarming.
Yeah. Guys, this is the additional machinery room. The joke was always that the building had to be constructed around the lathe. But it turns out that was actually the case. The machine was supposed to be scrapped because it failed a previous inspection. The disassembly process included lifting off several components via a crane, such as the headstock, and they weighed several hundred kilograms each. Unfortunately, the only crane we had was not tall enough for the job. The solution to that problem was to put the crane on 2 lifting tables, jacking them up, and pulling it all backwards with the headstock dangling from it.
Oh my God.
There was no better way to do this. Are you sure?
It's fine. I'm sure they thought about it. Really, they're German, you know?
It's over-engineered, and there's 2 ashtrays in it.
Yeah.
This is actually the service manual for a mid-90s 7 series. It's just being read to us.
There was just one issue. The crane was on rollers, as were the lifting tables. Imagine standing on an office chair while wearing rollerblades.
Ooh,
that's about how stable the whole construction was. To keep everything in place, my coworker decided to jam a crowbar under the roll of the crane, which could have easily cost him a few fingers or his hand had something decided to go south. It's also worth mentioning that all this took place in a small basement room without ventilation, while everything was covered in oil from the half-disassembled machine, while my coworkers were both heavily smoking the entire time to cope with the stress of maybe losing a limb or two in this attempt of evading the eyes of the work safety inspector. Now, luckily, nobody got injured, and by some miracle, all of us still have all our limbs, and we didn't even burn to death.
Hooray.
I took pictures of the scene as it was unfolding, but to protect the identity of my coworkers and myself, I traced over it to obscure it. It's also worth noting that we listened to metal while doing this, and Iron Maiden's Dance of Death blasted on full volume as I took these pictures, which I find too funny not to include.
That rules.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the story, maybe I'll do a follow-up with how I found out that the safety housing of our circular saw doesn't actually stop any shrapnel in case the saw blade explodes. But that's a different story entirely. Regards, a machinist.
Thank you, a machinist.
Thank you, a machinist. Well,
I love to build a rolling Jenga tower.
Yeah. It's on wheels now.
That was Safety Third. Shake hands with danger. Our next episode will be on Chernobyl. Does anyone have any commercials before we go?
Once again, donate to Mary's grandson for a new mobility van. Listen to Trans Girlismo. I'm going to be on it.
Yeah, I'm uploading that episode like right after we do this.
Oh,
the Liam guest special.
Exciting.
Yeah, we talked about how everything sucks. You may notice a theme in the shows I'm on lately.
The theme is developing.
Well, that's not fair. We also did talk about how Bob Lutz is a king and Dodge Viper's the greatest car ever built. But
that's a damn truth.
Podcast.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye, everyone. Wow, what a great podcast, everyone.
Fuck you.
Oh.